Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Jan.
That's Chris.
And welcome to CCTV, the nonstop pop show.
And today we're heading to Pop 101 class and learning about the urban electro band Nuest. Class is now in session.
All right, so before we get into it, Shan, do you like Nuest?
Yeah, I do. Showtime, Nuest Time, Urban Electro Band wasn't exactly my favorite when they first came out. I didn't exactly like Face, but then they actually won me over with Action. And I remember seeing their teasers when they first were debuting, and JR and Ren were like the visually most interesting I've seen because JR looked really fierce and Ren was absolutely gorgeous. He is Pledis' first long-haired pretty boy. Okay, so absolutely gorgeous. I've only seen them maybe twice in concert though, so unfortunately I haven't seen a full-length concert. I've only seen them in KCON. What about you?
I'm a new fan. I do remember when they came out and I wasn't that into it. I did see them in Korea at the Hallyu Dream concert in 2012, like when they were promoting Action. But yeah, I remember being super excited when they came out, but I wasn't that into it. But with all the COVID and staying home a lot, when I'm in Trouble came out, I was like, this song is so good. And I very quickly went into a deep dive. And now I really like them. Yeah, I really like them.
Yeah. That's so good to hear. I mean, they are really talented. I think out of all the K-pop groups that came out in that year, there was 24 or 23 different groups that came out, and they are probably the only ones, aside from EXO and some other groups, that have lasted as long as they have. I mean, they have come from having like the brightest kind of potential, the brightest star during debut, to kind of maybe not so sure about their career, to now they have definitely earned my respect as a group.
Yeah. Okay, so before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to Lei, who created like a mini documentary about Nuest's journey. It's also on YouTube because it was just one of the first videos I watched when I was learning about them. And it was a great reference for our class today. So just shout out to that. You guys should go check that out.
Awesome. All right. So let's get started. Class is now in session. Nuest is made up of members JR, Ren, Baekho, Minhyun, and Aaron. And they were the first boy band formed by Pledis Entertainment, which at the time only had after school. Nuest actually stands for New Established Style and Tempo. And they debuted in 2012. At the time, they were still really young, so that was a huge focal point for this group. The group's debut track, Face, is a song told from a teenager's point of view. It is about bullying and school violence, and at the time was the most viewed debut K-pop song. So what do you remember about this song, Chris?
Oh man, I remember it was a huge deal when it came out. I was a huge after school fan. So I remember it was like, like Pledis Entertainment is debuting their first boy band and they're super young and like the song is like, it's about teenagers speaking about their issues that they have. I also remember Kyle Hanagami was announced as the choreographer, who I was, and yeah, I was a fan of him at the time. So I was curious, what they would come up with. So I was excited about it. That I didn't
know that Kyle did that. I only knew that he did flashback for after school. So I was like, oh my God, but that's amazing. I mean, even with all the hype around it, even I was really like interested, like, oh my gosh, it's a boy group, because Baekho was doing like sword fighting and Ren I thought was a woman.
Yes.
I mean, when they showed his face, I was like, oh my God, what a beautiful person. And even with JR, I saw him and I thought, wow, his face is so fierce, because everyone else at the time was very just cute and had like this really handsome look. Like he was handsome, but something about him just looked really edgy, like his hair was over his face. Unfortunately, I can't remember what Minhyun and Aaron's teasers were like, but when the song came out, I gotta be honest, I wasn't digging it. I wasn't feeling the whole the sound of it, honestly. The whole European pop sound that Gaga and Tayo Cruz had made really famous. Like, it just sounded like they made a baby, and I didn't really like it. What about you?
Yeah, I did not love the song either. I
Right.
think at the time I remember just being like, maybe I'm getting too old. I was like, I'm in college and like these kids are dealing with their like school bullying. I was like, maybe I'm just too old for this. I also was so
Right.
disappointed by the dance routine because he took the bullying thing really literally. And it was like them punching and like pushing each other down and like helping each other up. And I was like, okay, this is like too much. Like, this is not it.
Yes. I agree. I don't think, I mean, I respect the concept about, you know, bullying. I totally understand that. But, you know, the song did not do it for me. You know, it wasn't a jackpot. You know, unfortunately, it wasn't a jackpot. And honestly, the worst part, the weakest point of this song is that dubstep. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, I have to give it to them. They're great. Like their little tutting and stuff that happens in the but like it has not aged well. I mean, I think dubstep in general has not aged very well. But in this song, it just felt so forced in.
Yes, and it wasn't even in the same key. I can't remember what key it was in, but I remember, like, I don't think I would have been as bothered, right? Because at the time, like, you know, EXO was doing Mama with the screaming, and then, you know.
Yes.
You know, so jarring transitions and bridges didn't really affect me, but it's the fact that it didn't even have the same key. Like, oh my God, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, this song was kind of like one of those, hey, here we are moments. But their follow-up single, Action, which had a similar concept, did really well. So I think it was a good transition. Unfortunately, the dubstep made a sequel. Like
I think the dubstep is actually worse in Action. Like it fits it even less. But I think we can both agree that Action is a better song than Face.
Oh my, yes, I had that song on my iPod shuffle. I would play it all of the time. Not only that, but like Aaron's rap got so much better than what it was in Face.
Yes, David and Goliath.
This is a song about
Yes.
This is a song about a dwarf and a giant that's gonna end like they were gonna. I was like, what are you saying? But in Action, he's like victim of conformity, but down on all fours. I was like, yeah, And on top of that, like the choreography, Ren in a beret, and the new Jack Swing sound of it. It really sounded like, you know, Teddy Riley kind of just put his hand on it, even though he probably had nothing to do with the track. This song, it couldn't go wrong at all until that dubstep crash. Again.
Yeah, for sure. But luckily for them, Action actually did very well, and so did Face. And it was an upward trajectory from here because their next single was a song called Hello. Which is a mid-tempo track that was a bit more mature. But it did very well commercially. It charted really well and got a lot of attention from the Korean public. Do you remember this song's release and do you like it?
I'll tell you, nope. I don't.
Yeah.
All right. I can genuinely tell you that I do not recall this song being a release.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it kind of just slipped through my cracks of my mental I think I was into BAP at the time, but I wasn't paying attention as much as I should have. And I wasn't exactly in love with the song. Like even listening to it now, like I love the way Minhyun sounds. He sounds like a baby angel. He sounds great.
Oh, his voice is just beautiful. His tone is the tone I would want if I was a singer.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's great. He's gotten better and better. The video is really interesting though. It's very between them dancing on this like smoky, snowy street and like the drama version of it, and then them in this black room. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, JR like kisses this girl, and is it the same girl that's like cheating on all 5 of them? I don't know.
Yeah,
I do have to say, I like the dance routine of it. Like, I think it's cute with the say. Yeah.
No, you're making it cute. This is not cute.
I like when they all drop it. You know.
Okay, I understand. I have to say I hate the footwork at
Oh,
Friends part.
I hate that part too. That footwork is bizarro. Who came up with that? Okay, yes, I agree. That was not it. But the rest of it, I think, is great.
Yeah, I think it's good, but I can't with the sharp tie thing. I wasn't in love with it, but yeah, you make it look cute, but I just
Oh,
honestly that video was just strange. But fun fact, the dancer at the table that locks hands,
yes,
is actually Hyo-sun. She ended up being in the unit as like a member, not a member. She didn't make the team, but she was on that show, and they discussed that with her, like, oh, you were a dancer for New East, and she goes, yeah, I held his hands.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, so
really interesting.
Yeah, I don't really remember this song coming out either. I think this was when K-pop started getting really saturated. Everyone was just debuting groups, and because I didn't love Face and Action was like okay at the time, like I just didn't give them much attention.
Right, the follow-up wasn't there.
Yeah, but I actually really like it now, and I think the song sounds mature.
Right.
But I was reading the lyrics. Have you read the lyrics? It's like the most clingy. I really hate clingy people, and it's literally the most clingy song ever. So these lyrics, I kind of wish I never read them, because now it kind of makes me like the song a little less.
I'm sorry. Can I say that you're speaking to Queen Kling right here. I'm joking. I'm totally joking. But I actually didn't see anything wrong with the lyrics, really. They were a little like, teenage boy. Yeah. Kind of like, I'm calling you. Why aren't you answering? Or I heard this song and I thought of you, and so it's very like, it fit them for like their ages, Yeah. If a grown man said this to me, I'd be like, babe, go. You got it. Right. Go. But I think it wasn't a terrible song. But unfortunately, they didn't exactly keep this momentum of. They didn't keep the momentum of good tracks, because next is Sleep Talking. What are your thoughts about this song? Because I think actually you and I might have some differing opinions here.
Okay. I think the song is hilarious, not in a good way. I think it's not good. Like I think it's so bad. Like kudos to them. They're fully committing to it, like they're all right. Like all the facials, good for them. But that chorus, go back.
Yeah.
No.
No. Can I tell you, I was like kind of excited to hear the song because it was produced by Double. It's spelled double, but Double Sidekick. And he did songs with Tiara. He did songs with Sistar. So I'm thinking, oh wow, this might be good, And it's tough. It's tough because the beginning, it started out with JR kind of rapping in this low voice, and it's like, oh yeah, where's this gonna go? And then it just got brighter and brighter, and I'm like, okay, where's it going? And it kept getting brighter and brighter, and it's just this song. The chorus is really weak for them, and it's just, oh man, it's tough because at the time, EXO had released Growl. Like they were ruling them. Yeah. Oh. Ruling the market with this whole amazing soundscape, and then all of a sudden come back. They weren't going to survive. And then Ren, that hat still haunts my dreams.
All the fashion, I watched a few of the stages of this, just out of curiosity, and like the styling is just terrible. Also, like the dance routine, like when they're or whatever, and like nah, like I don't know, it's just the whole thing. It's just like it gets worse. Like the song gets worse and worse as it keeps going, and at the end is just the worst part. Like, thought this was the right move. I don't get it.
You know what? You don't know who thought this was the right move. I just feel bad for them because this could have been something, but it wasn't, and Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, I guess they were trying to really push this because they even created a subunit.
Yes. Okay. So first, Sleep Talking did not do well in Korea.
No.
And of course, after that, Pledis Entertainment shipped them off to China, added a member named Jason, and they became nuest M. And they literally just disappeared from Korea for months and promoted in China. I don't think it did that well there, because clearly nuest M is no longer a thing.
True.
But the little fan base that they were building, obviously they disappeared, because
Yeah. It's like you're supposed to be here in Korea, but now you're in China. And, interestingly enough, I feel like there was this huge interest in promoting in China around this time because there was, XOM. And then even later on, I remember Monsta X actually going to China for some time to promote and do things. And I'm not saying China doesn't deserve love. I was just really confused as to why, after building this career, do you suddenly disappear? Because even I kind of just forgot about them. Yeah, I mean, bonus point about this era, was that Ren was actually doing Boys Day at this time, so that was fun to watch.
Yes.
That was really fun to
great.
see. Yeah,
yes,
and that was the only thing I've heard from them in that year. So
yeah, I think from a business point of view, what I assume happened is that some Chinese entertainment company had a really great offer, like money-wise, to bring them over there. And obviously, Pledis Entertainment went for it. The mistake, of course, is that they didn't continue Korean promotions at the same time. Because this is such a crucial time for any group. This kind of like 1 or 2 years in where you've released a couple singles, some did well, some didn't. Like that's a really crucial point in your career. And this was not the right step, unfortunately. Yeah,
I agree. I agree. Even though they were gone for a really long period of time, eventually they did return back to Korea with their full album, Rebirth, with the lead single, Goodbye Bye. Unfortunately, the song and the album did not do so well, and it's a little disappointing because this was actually a great song. It really showed their growth and showcased how manly everyone was becoming. I mean, the hair was pushed back, Ren came back with a new nose, everything was just
yes, new nose. Oh my god.
No more boyish, colorful concept, so it was interesting to see. What are your thoughts about this song?
Oh, it's so interesting because this song is totally up my alley. And I think if I had heard it at the time, I would have loved it.
Right.
Like it's great. It's melancholic.
Yes.
There's a great dance routine. Their vocals sound great. I love the harmonies in the chorus. Oh man, like the first time I heard it, I think, is when I was trying to learn about them earlier, a few months ago.
You're kidding me. Oh my god.
I was like, dang, like this is a great song. And it's like so sad that it didn't do well. But of course, after all this time away, the fans have moved on.
Right. Exactly. At this point, you've kind of not wasted time, but in a sense, you wasted time, And I really like this song. I mean, everyone was really coming into their own. I feel bad for Baekho, though, because he had that orange hair and he was going through his man puberty. So everything just poor baby.
Yes,
but
the orange hair was not it. The orange hair was not it.
Yeah, I mean, that's hilarious. I mean, I really did like certain songs on this album, like Climax with its UK garage sound, and Big Deal was good. I mean, it's so unfortunate that this album did not receive the recognition that these boys were so sorely due. But then right after that, they went to Japan.
Yeah, they cut the promotion short and they were shipped to Japan. Ugh.
what was Pledis doing? Oh my goodness.
I mean, okay, here's the thing, right? Japan is the biggest music market in Asia. So it makes sense that all these K-pop bands want to make it in Japan, because even just from touring alone, Japan's bigger, you know? And so the amount of money you can make from that is great. And of course, if there's success there, the hope is that the success would transfer over. But again, I think the mistake here is that they ignored Korea.
Yes.
You know, they literally disappeared to Japan for over a year and released 4 albums. That's crazy.
Gosh, that's too much. Yeah. You know, I think Pledis was trying to do this thing where they were trying to have them follow in After School's footsteps, because After School started getting a little bit more popular in Japan. They had so many singles, they had so many different songs, and it was like, oh, let's send them over there too. But like you said, when you do that and you ignore your core, your home audience, that really is just, I mean, for international fans, it's whatever. We have to look at them on YouTube. But for your home country, it's really bad, you know? And finally, after a year and a half, they made a Korean comeback with their mini album, Q Is. And they had this single, Overcome, that was just, oh my God. It was ahead of its time, honestly. It was so good. I mean, it starts out with this R&B kind of slow jam feel, and then it turns into this future bass. It's lush. It's gorgeous. It was chef kiss, just, oh my gosh.
And notably, the members were finally involved in the production of every song on the mini album.
Yes.
Yeah.
So their voices are literally in their music. They are finally the self-produced group that everyone, you know, loves now, you know? And it just stinks because their sales were getting worse. And it just did not translate well into the full soundscape of Korea. Like, no one was really paying attention aside from the fans. And it's just tough for them. I really feel bad for them. I mean, but at least during this time, I really feel like they found their niche, that future bass electronic sound, and not this loud EDM dubstep massacre. So
so after a few months after Overcome, even though Overcome did not do well, they did release another song, Love Paint, which every single member of New East co-wrote this song. And the fans actually did manage to get them their first music nomination on Show Champion for this song. But unfortunately, the sales were the worst than ever for this song.
My gosh, it got worse.
Which is crazy, because again, this song is so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Their voices soar on this track. Just a quick little like fangirl moment. And then JR's voice, like everything was very pastel pink, pastel purple. Everything was very soft pastels. And then like his voice just roots that song into a sexier place without it was effortlessly sexy. It wasn't like, okay, I'm about to be really sexy right now. It was just, here's my rap, and then it transitioned to a higher tone, and the latter part of his rap, like that song is we need to do like just a throwback reaction to that song.
Yes, and Baekho in the chorus, his voice has developed so well. It's so strong. Like, it's crazy. He sings so high all the time.
Super.
And it just sounds so strong. And like his tone it adds a thicker tone to it. Like there's so much body to his tone.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Which is just, it's so great. Like, especially when you pair it with like Minhyun's like more angelic sound and like
the silky vocals. Yes.
So good. Yes.
One thing I find very interesting, and I don't know why companies are making such large groups, you know, I find it interesting that each person in this group has a place, you know, even with Aaron, I'm so glad he transitioned from being a rapper. No offense, but just honey, don't ever in your life.
He still has a few rapper moments, but yes, I agree.
Nothing as bad as Faze. Like, I hope he never in his life goes back to raps like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind him rapping. I'm totally joking by saying don't ever in your life. I'm totally joking. But raps like that were just very juvenile, and they didn't even have like a very comfortable like cadence. Something about it was just very like, oh, we have an American speaker, not he raps. But now every so often you hear him rap and it's like a treat. It's like, oh wow, this is great. Oh, I wasn't expecting this, or oh, you know, a little sprinkle on top, you know? So yeah, unfortunately though, even with all the creative
growth.
Yeah, with all the creative growth and all the just beautiful sounds and beautiful videos, they kind of disappeared a little bit.
It was not doing well. So unfortunately, in 2017, it was announced that nuest would go on hiatus and the members would take part in an individual competition show called Produce 101, where they would compete against each other to get into a boy band that would eventually become 101, which was like a temporary 1.5-year boy band made up of like trainees from all over different companies. Aaron did not participate in this, but the other 4 did. Yeah.
I remember seeing it and just being like, oh no, this is I don't want to say it's embarrassing, but there must be a level of just, I guess, mild shame where it's like we have been out, you know, since 2012 when EXO came out, when BAP came out, when all these other large groups came out, and here we are trying to redeem ourselves, trying to prove ourselves, trying to reintroduce ourselves to a younger audience. And I remember seeing it, and I hated the way they had Baekho, like the way the editing was. They made him seem like he was this mean person because he is a hulking figure. He's a big dude, you know. I call him a singing jock because every time I look at him, I'm thinking, yo, he can take someone out.
Yes, choir boy jock. Yes,
choir boy jock. He is legit. He is Finn from Glee, like literally, like he can. But yeah, so I mean, I think it just really stinks that they had to go through this. But I mean, I guess you have to do what you have to do.
I mean, it's so sad. I've only seen clips of it. I remember reading about it when it happened, but honestly, at this point, I didn't really care about them. So I was like, oh, that sucks for them. But yeah, I agree. I can't imagine how it is embarrassing. Like you guys have debuted for years with zero success, and now you have to like go back and work with these trainees that have not debuted and like try and prove that you're worthy. And obviously the editing, I don't think was very positive at the start. You know, there was a lot of negative reaction that people were like, that's not fair. Like they have all this experience, like too bad for them. They failed, but like, you know.
Right. Yeah, it was unfortunate, very unflattering editing. But I mean, even with this embarrassing moment, whatever you want to call it, they were able to kind of have it galvanized their popularity. People were like, who is this group? Oh my gosh, wow. And their old discography started rising up in the charts. So that's really good for them. And then Minhyun debuted with 101.
Yes.
Shout out to 101 because Energetic is probably like one of the
love Energetic. Yes.
So good as a debut song, as a group. And I think it was good for them. You know, it's like, hey, this is our member. This is one of our members. Imagine all of us. We're just as good, right? So people started getting more interested in them. And while Minhyun was promoting with 101, there was still a demand for nuest. So then they came back with nuest W, their second subunit.
So W stands for wait, as in they're waiting for Minhyun to return, which I love that. Like sometimes, like I always find it weird sometimes when in K-pop groups, like just one person will be missing from a performance because they're sick or something. They don't even mention it on stage. Like it's just like, you have to like look up the press release or something to find out what even happened, or if even that. And so it's great that they so publicly were like, we're waiting for Minhyun. This is a temporary subunit. We are a 5. And he's going to return. Like, I think that's such a great message to send to your fans.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah.
Can I tell you?
Oh, yeah.
that I didn't know that the W was for waiting. I didn't know, or wait. I didn't know that was because I saw W, and honestly, like you said, like a lot of groups do not acknowledge that they are missing a member or that they are
Yes.
waiting for a member. So when I saw the W, I was really trying to figure out what the W was for. I didn't read a press release, nothing. I was just like, W, make it make sense. You know, I was like, what is this? So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think honestly, when they came back, when I heard Where You At,
hmm
oh my gosh, I really did like this song. And it was just like, uh, this song and this video was really, really, really nice. And it was interesting because um it was really mature. Something about it just seemed very just perfect for them. Seemed very just we're probably going to say this a lot, like really sexy, but it was very sexy. Something about it wasn't just like, desperate, like, where you at? Something about it was just really, it wasn't desperate like
Yes.
Hello was. It was very
Yeah.
sexy. It was like, oh man, I
Yes,
mean,
they've
but
grown.
Becco wrote it.
Yes, yes, which is amazing. And he now co-writes a lot of their material, which is awesome. But they finally made it to #1 on a music show.
Yes.
I think they still hold the record for like the group that has taken the longest from debut to getting a #1.
Aw, yeah.
But finally, the demand is there. People
Right.
are here for Nuest, and this song
Hmm.
did super, super well, which is great.
Yes,
And yeah,
as it should have.
yeah, I agree. The video is great. They all look awesome. The routine is good.
Hmm.
This isn't actually one of my favorites.
Hmm.
Because I wish it had a real chorus. It's like it's one of my pet peeves, I
Yeah.
think, where it's like there's a build up and it's just where you at, and then it's like just the instrumental. I was like, oh, like there's that's it, and he just sings where you at over that.
I know, but that was the trend at the time, and I do believe because it was the soundscape of K-pop, I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
Um, I just kind of just listened to it. I was like, all right, this is nice, okay. Um, but yeah, I mean that was the trend at the time. I mean now it's really annoying that people kind of let the instrumental play,
yeah.
but we'll discuss that in another video. Stay tuned. Stay tuned
Yes,
for that, a rant about
yes.
K-pop.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
I mean, their follow-up track I think may have been a little bit more to your standards, I guess, more to your taste. Dejavu was their next single as
Yes.
nuest W.
기억을 걷는 이곳에 차라리 날 가둬줘 데자부.
What a great song. What a great song. So this is their venture into like a slightly Latin kind of feel, right? With the guitar. And it
Right.
did very, very well for them. But this
Yes.
is still definitely one of my favorite Nuist songs. I think it's
Mhm,
perfect.
mhm.
Like the
Oh, yes,
choreo,
great.
it's so slick.
Yes.
Again, they all sound amazing. The dance
Yeah.
routine is so good. It's so subtle. I
Yes.
love just the slow walking and like the smizing at the camera.
Yes.
The
Ah!
whole routine is just made for smizing,
Yes.
which I love.
Which a lot of groups don't do. Everyone feels like I have to dance at every
Yeah, that's
single
because they're just
second
like
of the
doing the
music.
absolute most.
Exactly. But they were like, we are sexy. We
Mhm.
are talented. We are all really good looking as well. That's another thing about this group. They have all aged so well.
All 5 of them are extremely good looking.
Yes.
Like literally every time I watch a video of them, that's like the first thought. I'm just like,
Totally.
how? And also it's just such a great range, right? You've got like
Yes.
Ren, who's slightly more feminine. You've got Becco, who's
Mhm.
like buff. And then you have
Yeah.
JR, who's just like the cutest thing ever. Um,
The
so
cutest thing
yeah.
The war
Yeah.
turtle. The war turtle.
Yeah, the
thing.
war turtle.
So cute.
But anyway, so I have to note they have performed this song,
Mhm.
since it's come out with Minhyun, and
Yes.
like Becco like wrote like a whole extra part just for him.
Mhm.
So I would love this version to be released with like all 5 of them, because I do miss Minhyun's voice, because he is my favorite tone. So yeah, I do
I
miss
don't
it.
blame you. He's silky. I mean, he is silky.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you said, I wish they would add a version with him in it. But even at the same time, around, I mean, several months later, when the Mama Awards were showing,
Mm-hmm.
Heaven with 17 was
Mm.
premiered. And that's another song that has not have a single studio version, and it blows my mind. Blow your mind, blow your mind.
Yeah, come on, Pledis Entertainment. What are you doing?
They're slipping up, and it's crazy because Dejavu actually is like their most streamed track on Spotify at the moment.
Yes.
So it's just like, why are you not creating another version with Minhyun to it? But you know, I mean, they perform it, and then I guess Minhyun just kind of just lips over certain parts.
Hopefully for a future album or something.
Yes,
So they did release one more single as Nuest W, which was the song Help Me. Which is great. It's interesting. It has like JR actually leading the chorus, which I think is rare. Yeah, it was another great song though. I love how intense it is. But yes, but luckily Minhyun was done with 101.
Oh, sorry, Wonderful. Sorry.
Yeah, finally they could come back as a 5. Yay! So they made a comeback with Bet Bet. Do you like this one?
Do I like it? I love this song. It's so, oh my God. Everything about this song is just, it builds so well. This song is completely a slow burn. It's a slow burn. That chorus comes in and it just really, it smolders. That's the word. It smolders. Like, JR's rapping this song. I'd let him.
Oh God.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, the dance routine is so good. I would love to learn this. I think if I was ever in a boy band, this is exactly the type of song that I would want to do, right?
Oh,
it's
yeah,
sexy.
totally.
It's a lot of body rolls. It's mature.
Yes.
And yeah, like you said, it's super dynamic, and every member has like their own special part in it.
Yeah, this is why I totally wish their next release, Love Me From the Table, got so much more recognition.
It's just so funky and fun, and it really shows their range where they can do that boyish concept without creating something like sleep talking, but still maintain their maturity.
Yes. I love when people are able to do happy songs without going too cutesy, which is exactly what Love Me is, because the lyrics are kind of cheesy, but it's like done in like a very it's in a cute way, but not like an annoyingly cute way. So finally though, they have success. They're huge in Korea. They're getting more attention worldwide again too. And this year they came back with an amazing song, I'm in Trouble.
So baby, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. 비밀을 만들고 싶어졌어. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
Oh my God. Oh, so good.
So good.
Like, I have no words. Like, honestly, at this point, it's going to be just a lot more accolades. Like, oh my God, they're so good. Oh my God, they're so talented. Oh my God, they're so good looking. Like, at this point, it's just you and I are an echo chamber of how good they've gotten. And it's completely fine because it's true. They have actually really been able to just stand out. I mean, everyone's making noise music, and they decided to release a bass-driven, funky track, and it's so chill. And the lyrics, when I really looked them up, it's about Nocturne, like, you know, push and pull of love. There's a part during JR's part, he goes, if you tell your friends about us, I'm cool with that. And I'm like, he's like, I hope you tell your friends. I'm like, yes, I ain't got no friends, but honey, I'll make some for you. Like, oh my gosh. And then pink hair Becco.
Oh,
honey, honey, love it. But I know you weren't a fan, but you look good.
I don't know, he looked good. I mean, he always looks good. Again, all 5 of them are beautiful. Good job, universe. Yes. Anyway, I'm obsessed with this song. I still am obsessed with this song. Like, since it's come out, it's definitely in my top list of 2020 pop songs. Like, they've continued on the trajectory of keeping everything very slick. Like you said, it's pulled back. Like they're not trying too hard. Like even that whole routine is super relaxed. Like yes, there's some sharp moments to it, but yeah, most of it's just like
Yes.
very subtle.
You're right though. It's interesting because their style of dancing is very different from like a typical K-pop group. With other K-pop groups, you have them like hitting these really hard, almost like world dance competition show-esque choreography, but they're actually
Yes.
performing. And that's
Right.
one thing I think a lot of fans I don't think either realize the difference between like spectacle and a performance. Like these guys, this choreography will age well. This choreography they'll be able to do. No offense to any of the other younger guys, but like not younger guys, but younger groups. But a lot of the movements that they do as they get older, they're not going to be able to sit there and jump off each other's back and flip on the floor and do all these other extra things. You know what I'm saying? And it's not an insult at all. It's not me coming for anyone's. But things like this are timeless.
Yeah.
And I think nuest has been able to really figure out how to remain timeless and how to create music that is refined but still creates an impact. Even bass, that song, it was just like wow, still subtle, very minimalistic, and still maintained our attention, rather our focus. And I think a lot of groups aren't really doing this, and it's a shame. But then again, y'all make your noise, they'll be over there tip-tapping on their heads, being real smooth, and let them have that place in K-pop. Let them own this, because honestly, they've got it. So let them keep it.
Yeah, so that's the latest single that they've released, and I can't wait for what's next, but we have created a playlist here on YouTube as well as Spotify and Apple Music of all of these singles that we've talked about, as well as some of our favorites from their discography. So you can check that out in the links below. I do want to just point out a couple of the songs that weren't singles that are also amazing. Moon Dance from this latest mini album. It was co-written by JC from NSYNC. And Minhyun also actually wrote on it as well. But this song, oh my gosh, the melody, it's so beautiful. It's ethereal. Like I genuinely do picture like a night sky, like when I'm listening to it, like the whole thing is just so well written. It's again, very subtle and relaxed. So yeah, just had to point that one out.
I also want to shout out from the Canvas album, Real Love, True Love. This song is, oh my God, I love it. It's an EDM track. It's an EDM dream, actually. I want to express that. So many textures to that song, and it really reminded me of an SMX-esque track. And we did our FX episode, and after listening to that album, I was kind of like really honing in on this song in particular from their catalog. So I really like this one, and I really recommend it to people who aren't really fans of them and want to kind of delve into their soundscape. So what is next for nuest?
Yeah, well, so Pledis is now a part of Big Hit. And so, so the I'm in Trouble comeback was right before that happened. So they haven't come back since that acquisition happened. So I'm very curious whether this will, how the next comeback will be, whether this will open up more opportunities for them, and how that partnership will hopefully help their career.
Right, of course.
Because for some reason, I do still think they're underrated.
They are.
Yeah, like I feel like current K-pop fans still kind of dismiss them, especially internationally. And I hope that they're able to continue gaining in popularity. Because like even I'm in Trouble, I sent that to everyone. I was like, I literally was like, this K-pop song is amazing. I sent it to, I don't care if they were K-pop fans. Like I was like, this song is an amazing pop song. So yeah, I'm really very curious how the next comeback is gonna go.
I agree. I agree with you. Honestly, that's another thing too. Kind of want to throw it back to what I said earlier about them being able to create timeless music. Not only is it timeless, but I think if they did ever want to kind of make an English single and they kept like I'm in trouble, I would listen to it. I
Oh,
would
yeah.
show somebody kind of just on the sly, like, oh, listen to this song, and they wouldn't. They probably wouldn't even realize it's a K-pop group because they don't purposely try to sound like K-pop. They just
Mhm.
happen to be some Korean dudes making bomb music, and I think that's their strongest point. For their next kind of project, I'd like to see what they would do if they do venture a little bit more into that R&B kind of sound, because they kind of flirt with it a little bit, and it kills me because I'm like, just give it to me, you know. Like,
Yes.
kind of flirt with it, and they do have great voices. You know, they have the kind of voices that and the kind of technique that only gets better with time. I mean, Becco has been hitting notes for years and his voice has not faltered yet.
Mhm.
Minhyun is getting better. Aaron finally found like this great sound and he sticks with it. JR, he goes from low tones to high tones and even sings sometimes. It's like, and
Yeah.
then Ren, he is consistent. I will give that to this guy is consistent. And then he ventures off and does so many different things. I think you mentioned that he did a musical.
Yes,
Like,
he
come
played. Yeah,
on.
he played a drag queen actually
Like,
in a musical,
yeah.
which is so progressive. First off, because obviously, you know, in Korea, it's still quite conservative there, and so good for him for doing that
Yes.
role.
Mhm.
And Minhyun also is going to be in a drama, like
Right.
which is cool. So yeah, they all seem busy and it's great. They're like doing their individual things, but I cannot wait for the next comeback because
Yes.
I will actually be a fan and can like actually like enjoy it as
Appreciate
such. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they did just release their first Japanese single in a
Mhm.
long time, a song called Drive, which Becco again co-wrote. So good.
Yeah. It
So good.
is. I mean, for the
Yeah.
first single in 5 years, I mean, that is really kudos to them. At first, when I heard it, it was so subtle. I was kind of like, oh, I wasn't expecting this because,
Mhm.
like I said, it's been 5 years from their Japanese singles, and I am the kind of like fan that listens to like all whatever you release. Oh, I'll listen to it. So
Yeah,
when
yeah.
so when I heard it, I was thinking, oh, this is kind of subtle. But again, it's a testament to Becco reading the room and understanding that when they get older, they need to be able to do songs that age well.
Mm.
So they are literally their name. They establish new sounds each comeback. They are able to keep up with the trend but not get sucked up by it. And I'm glad that they were able to really grow from their, I guess they're not their mishaps, but like from their low moments, you know? So they have earned their place. They have
Mhm.
earned their place as the first episode of our Pop 101.
Yes. I mean, we love an underdog story. Who doesn't, you
Yes,
know?
yes.
And they really did go through a lot. Like
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
crazy that they were so close to disbanding and they're so
Yeah.
lucky. And I'm very grateful, you know, that whole Produce 101 stint worked out for them and they were able to, you know, get some success. So
Yes, I agree.
yeah.
So let us know what you think of Nuest in the comments below. Are you a new fan that has been converted, finally? Or are you an older fan that really appreciates their growth and are happy that they're finally getting the recognition that they deserve? Also, don't forget to check out our playlist. Please like and subscribe because we have so much more fun artists lined up for this 101 series. Until next time, that's Chris.
That's Jan.
And we are CCTV. Bye.